Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
And your panel and to your listeners. So, first of all, let me just clarify that the PDS investigation is a joint investigation between the BNI and EOCO, which I had. Now, the PDS investigation is also not predicated on the campaign promise of the president, but based on a petition from the Financial Intelligence Unit, Financial Intelligence Center, that sent that petition. Now, so every petition has specific allegations that it raises. And then as you review and you expand the investigation, other matters come into view. Now, I want to state that as far as my briefing is concerned, the lawyers that you're talking about were invited as suspects. And then they turned up on the scheduled day, but said they could not wait because the officers were on the field. They could not wait and scheduled to come the day after. Now, that day had already been scheduled for the other two suspects that you mentioned, Ayensu and the Indian chap. So the visit then now came to clash. So when they came, the two lawyers that had been invited prior, so the officials obviously agreed to the fact that they said they couldn't wait and they will come the next day. So when they came in, they were taking as suspects. Then a set of lawyers from Mika Premo also came to represent the other two gentlemen, Ayensu and the Indian. So it is not true that the lawyers came to represent their clients and then they were arrested. That is not true. I will not even allow interrogations to continue or start with any suspect unless his lawyer is present. And so please, that is the clarity I wanted to bring to you. And the issue, the reason why these lawyers have been invited, I hear, oh, they are lawyers. There's something more to that. And I just don't want the official details to be spilled out in this way, at this level of the investigation. But it is not true that they came to see their clients and then they were asked that they were suspect. That invitation had gone to them long before. They are the ones who rescheduled the meeting to that day.
Okay, but the bail amount, why were they detained and why, such an excessive bail amount, 50 million? Okay,
so once again, that's the reality. You see, we are public servants, we are public servants. Now, when Mr. Premo, the senior lawyer, came in, he said he wasn't feeling well, so he had to be taken to the clinic. That was a Friday, so that entered into a holiday. And because he wasn't well, we were minded not to keep him there all the way till Monday. So there were a lot of interventions that, because of his age and because of what he wasn't well, we should rather grant him bail. But then on that day, you couldn't go for surety inspection and all of that because it was a holiday. So what we decided was, why don't we release him on a bond so that they will come back on a Monday, which was a working day, so that we could go through the bail process. Now, my understanding is very simple, that when you hear bail, people should not focus on the amount. People should focus on what is at stake. So for me, I don't want to go into the details of whatever it is, but the bail obviously reflects what is at stake at the moment. There are two people who were given that bail in respect of the proceeds that may have gone anywhere. At the end of the day, those two people, those bail conditions were given in consideration of the totality of what the agents are looking at. That's about it. We tried. Saturday, we all were clamoring to make sure that somehow this officer, Mr. Premo, who is advanced in age and wasn't well, could at least go home. And all these activities are so misconstrued and thrown out there. My understanding from the officers was that Mr. Premo himself told the officers how and congratulated them how professional they were on that day. So what has changed?
He congratulated them for detaining him?
He congratulated them for the level of professionalism they exhibited. And here we are now saying that they actually came to represent their clients and they were arrested. I think it's just so difficult to operate under this level of high-handed misinformation.
I'm sure you have seen their statement. By their statement, they came to represent their clients, and you turned them into suspects.
Samson, I've just told you, they were invited. The two of them, Madam Sophia and Minka Premo, were invited the day before. Okay. They actually, we don't invite lawyers. We invite suspects, and then they come with their lawyers. So how is that? How do you invite a lawyer because his suspect is under investigation? You invite the suspect, then he is accompanied by his attorney. But we will not know who is representing who. We are not able to determine who a person's legal person is when he's coming to respond to an investigation. So it couldn't have been that we invited them and then we now turn them into suspects. We would have invited the suspect and the suspects would have come with their attorney. They were invited the day before and chose to come the following day because they couldn't wait. I wouldn't have taken that, but at the end, the man, I understand, is not feeling too well. So therefore, when he said they will come the next day, they were granted. When they came the next day, they took them through the process. The other suspects, which is Philip and the Indian guy, they had a separate team of lawyers from Minka Premo who dealt with them. Okay, so what my understanding is that Minka Premo and Sophia said they will represent themselves, but they needed an independent witness present. So that's exactly what happened.
But in this matter we are talking about, share some lights with us. That's some 850 million or so in a Carl Bank account went missing, and that's what has triggered this arrest. As you just said, you isolate the campaign promise by the president, which was not a bad promise. I don't see why you want to distance the president from. Everybody was angry about the PDS situation, and everybody was asking that there should be some action. So if the president promised at the time that some action will be taken at all costs, I don't see why. So tell us about this money.
So I'm saying, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying the president's decision, pronouncement in opposition was wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this investigation, at this instance, this particular investigation is premised on a petition from the Financial Intelligence Center. It is not predicated on the statement that was made by His Excellency the President when he was in opposition. Okay, and the petition has specific set of allegations that is made. And then it's reviewed, and then an investigative plan is put in place, then a case theory is built, and then the investigation kicks in.
PDS is one of the major cases.
The president has said some amount of money was missing. If you don't clarify that, it would then look like it is that money that is being pursued.
No, I was referring
to this
investigation,
as we speak, is predicated on a petition.
I get that. I was referring to the money we lost as a result of the botched PDS process. The 100 and how much again is it that we lost because of that, which we could have used to salvage ECG and its problems. Now, so
once again, Samson.
Yes.
Once again, somebody has said a lot of things. I'm a law enforcement officer. Okay, when I open my mouth and tell you, or even agree, or it seems to be agreeing that 188 million or 200 million is missing, It must be based on what I've investigated and what I've found. It cannot be because somebody said it or because it is being speculated.
Right.
As far as I am concerned, as I speak to you now, whatever I tell you must be based on facts. It cannot be based on what was speculated, what may have happened. It cannot be at this point.
All right.
And that is the process that has been kicked in by this petition, active petition, that we are all trying to see what is in there that we can do. But if people already feel like you can't even start.
Right. So let me ask you a few questions.
You can't even start the process. Then that's the problem.
I get you. Let me ask you a few questions. As I mentioned earlier, we were all very angry about the PDS situation and the fact that the country was losing the $190 million that would have come through the Millennium Challenge, Compact to assist ECG. And because PDS came in and all of these happened. Are you suggesting that, but for the petition, this would not have happened because PDS is a major case flagged by Oral?
So once again, Thompson, we are investigating an active petition. Okay, the issue that we are discussing. Look, there could be 20 investigations into PDS. There could be 10 investigations into PDS. But at this moment, at the instant moment, we're dealing with an active petition. And that is what this case is about. It is not about what may or may not have happened or may not have been reported in oral. What we are discussing now is an active petition and an active investigation.
Right.
That is it.
Okay, so as we understand, PDS, after they entered into the concession deal with ECG 2019 in May, and then by July 2019, their operations were suspended. So ECG took over again. In October 2019, then the government terminated the PDS deal. The ordinary Ghanaian who has been listening and following the process is asking one simple question. How do PDS officials have a hand in the missing of 850 million Ghana cedis in a Carl Bank account long after they lost control of everything?
You see, it's all one of the misinformation. And as somebody who is supervising this investigation, as well as that of the Director General of BNI, I do not want to reveal specific information that has already been gathered under this investigation. Once again, I'm saying that for anybody to even make a comment, they must have at least see the details of that petition. They're talking about 800 million. They're talking about whether ECG took over or whether there was money that was already collected before the termination and what happened to that money. All of that, I do not want to comment about because at the end, I am the one who is supervising this investigation. Okay. And I don't want the officers to be prejudiced by what I say.
Okay.
But I can tell you that there's a very professional, very methodical investigation that is going on. I hear the talk, these people who came there were just mere lawyers. The evidence will tell you something different.
Okay.
I don't want us to be misleading the public because this is a very sensitive issue, like you yourself have said. So it is something that the majority of Ghanaians are interested
if you give us some basic information, you will be able to overcome any misleading information in the public. So when was this 800? When was this 850?
I just told you that.
When was this 850 million? When did it get missing in the Carl Bank account?
When what?
The 850 million at stake. When did it get missing in the Carl Bank account?
So I mean, where did you get that figure from?
Your own, the Attorney General's department, your spokesperson, has told the world that this is what is at stake, 850 million missing from the Carl Bank account.
Listen, Samson, please pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that there could be 20 PDS investigations ongoing. There could be 30 PDS investigations contemplated. What I'm telling you is that we are discussing a specific issue. I will not get into any aspect of PDS that has not started or is being handled by another agency. I'm just responding to the specific issues that has arisen out of this specific investigation based on a specific petition.
Okay.
And I'm saying that the allegations they are making, that they came to represent their clients, that they were this, all of that is false.
I've moved on from there.
Okay.
I've moved on from there. But Benjamin Alpha.
As for the details of what has been found, what is in the petition, it is a subject of investigation. The fact that somebody makes a petition and says 100 million is missing from Carbank doesn't necessarily mean that it is true. The fact that the person says 100 million is missing from Carbank may also end up that, in fact, something more than that has happened. And it is very, very dangerous for investigative agencies to be throwing out numbers at such a preliminary stage of the investigation. That's why I keep a very silent position on active investigation.
I get that. So can you help me with this? Benjamin Alpha, who is the press secretary to the Attorney General, says that there is this suspected disappearance of 850 million belonging to ECG from a particular bank account, and that is the subject of the current investigation. Shall we take that, or we should discount it?
Samson, I just told you. You told me that you said on your show that there was PDS in oral, okay, and the PDS document was handed over to the Attorney General. And there are different agencies that are working on a lot of different cases. So I'm telling you that on this particular case we are investigating, it is based on an active petition from the FIC. It has nothing to do with what the other agencies that are working on oral cases may be handling.
Okay. So Raymond, just a second.
It may well be possible.
I'm following a process.
Some of the other agencies that are working on oral cases are dealing with a specific issue of some missing money.
I get you.
But let's focus on what we are investigating and not digress.
Yes,
I don't know. I didn't listen to this statement by the Attorney General spokesperson. And by the way, the Attorney General is not my spokesperson. He's not a spokesperson for us. He is the supervisor of our agency. He's the sector minister.
Okay. Because you see, when we started, you were concerned about misinformation. But for us, the information that we relied on was from official source. Benjamin Alpha, press secretary to the Attorney General, or Ministry of Justice and Attorney General's Department, told the world, told the public. I heard him on Ekosisen, and I think I've heard him somewhere else, and he said 850 million belonging to ECG that is gone missing in a Carbank account is the subject of the arrest of the four. No, hold on. Is the subject of the arrest of the four and the subsequent bail that was granted to them. So we would not have been able to have a discussion without putting that in perspective. It's actually the only basis for our discussion. But now you are saying what you are dealing with is different from what has been put out by Benjamin Alpha, correct?
That's not what I'm saying. I am not here to talk about Benjamin Alpha. I'm here to speak specifically to what I'm dealing with. I'm here to speak specifically to the lies that a lawyer came before the agency and was arrested as a suspect. I'm dealing specifically with the source of this investigation, and that's what I'm responding to. I'm not here to respond to what Atta was supposed to have said or not have said, because I didn't listen to that.
Okay.
I didn't listen to what he said. I probably don't even care what he said. I only care about the active investigation that we are doing, which is the subject matter of your discussion.
Okay. So what is the case that you say you have been petitioned for which you are investigating?
That's what I have told you. It's an active investigation and I'm telling you that it's a case that involves PDS, but I don't want to tell you what it specifically is. But I can tell you that what is going on is based on that petition. And I want it to remain at that until such a time when you realize I never...
Oh, did I lose Raymond? Yes, on that score that you have not been speaking publicly about your cases, we can grant you that because there's no evidence that you have been doing so, except some may say that, you know, there are others who are speaking for you. There are others who speak and deal with information that they could only have gotten it from you. So somehow that is being...
Others like who?
When the Attorney General speaks about an investigation and praises you, names you and praises you.
So you make this statement that others speak for me. As I speak to you now, I don't have a spokesperson. So it said others are speaking for me. Who are speaking for me?
Yes, so I just gave an example. I'm just giving an example. When the buffer stock matter, which we are going to go into right now, when the Attorney General had a press conference, you were the one that was singled out for praise.
Yes.
Correct. So that will be you. That's Attorney General saying.
Agency.
I'm not talking about
the agency. I represent the agency.
Correct.
Okay. So please let's have it. Whatever you write to when you write a letter to the agency, you write to the executive director. I just embody the position. That's all.
Okay.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.